What's going on, folks? We're sitting here in the Dark Horse booth at Comic-Con 2012, and I'm with Chris Hepler and Sylvia Feketekuty. They're both writers on Mass Effect 2 and 3.
I was only Mass Effect 3. I did some Mass Effect 2 DLC, but ME3 is my first big game. And Chris, you were...
I was on Mass Effect 2 near the end. I did some of the codex entries in the galaxy map, and I wrote some characters in Mass Effect 3.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I know you actually, speaking of the DLC, you helped do the Shadow Broker DLC, right?
I was one of 3 writers in Lair of the Shadow Broker, yeah.
Now, I mean, Shadow Broker was like hailed as some of the most amazing DLC out there. Like, people really loved it. How did that make you feel?
Really good. Totally inflated my head. No, it was really fun. I had the benefit of working with Mac and Patrick, who've been writers for a while on Mass, so they really showed me and Jay, the other writer on it, the ropes. It was really cool. It was actually sort of like a miniature development cycle in and of itself, because it was a pretty ambitious DLC for us.
Yeah.
And the whole team really got behind it. And I think it turned out beautifully.
It really did.
The fan reactions, especially, it was really gratifying to see.
Absolutely. Now, Chris, talk to me a little bit about what it was like coming onto a franchise like Mass Effect. I mean, it was already had such a high scope.
It was hilarious because the game I worked on before, it was Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I was doing little Silver Quest and stuff like that, and they said, Chris, stop trying to put science into Star Wars. and then they said, okay, Chris, now we need to put you on Mass Effect 2. We need to do the galaxy map. Learn all the planetary science you can, because we're trying to keep this as a realistic universe.
Right,
right. Okay, sure. And we need to do codex entries. So come up with some science for 200 years in the future.
Wow.
Okay. So that was there's some learning curve there.
Do you have a science background?
No, not really.
I love it.
I went to Johns Hopkins University, so as for writing, not for medicine.
Okay.
So I kept in contact with everybody I possibly could who did have a scientific background.
Okay.
And so I'm like contacting all these people who are like, okay, now, I have a friend who now works for NASA. Let's talk to him. So I do what I can with what I've got.
Now, as someone, I always, I love codex entries, and I read all those texts for the planets and whatnot, so I want you to know your work was not in vain. But how do you come up with these stories behind all these different worlds? Like worlds that you, in the games, we don't necessarily go to, but you give them a history anyway.
Yeah, well, how do we come up with it? Trial and error. But seriously, we know that what we know from the planets in our solar system, we take some aspects of those and extrapolate them to other ones. So we have, for example, a hydrogen helium gas giant. Well, that's basically Jupiter and Saturn. Okay. And if you go to a methane ammonia gas giant, that's basically kind of like Uranus and or Neptune. Excuse me. Neptune's a better example.
It's always funny. I don't know what to say. It's always funny.
Okay. No. So we worked off of aspects like that, and then there's some where we know from various astronomy blogs and stuff like that. Like we know that there is a planet in which it's actually so hot on one side that all of the rock melts off, and it rains as rocks on the cold side, and stuff like that. So we can do stuff like that because we know it's physically possible.
Got you.
And as for the history of all the colonies and stuff like that, we have a fairly extensive timeline in Mass Effect, in one of the codex entries that was set up in Mass Effect 1 that says, well, this is when the Asari got to the Citadel, and since then they've had a couple hundred years in order to colonize different. Well, in the case of the Asari, it's thousands, but they've had, if you get to a colony 300 years ago, the population is about like this, and we try to keep it reasonably realistic.
Okay.
So.
All right. Let me ask you now. I know that you guys did dialogue for different characters or whatnot. You specifically, Sylvia, did Liara and Samara.
Yeah.
So it's like
all these, sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? But I'm saying, I know. as pivotal a character as Liara was in the first game, it's like, what kind of responsibility did you feel as far as like bringing the words for her in the next few games?
Responsibility is a good word for it because like the characters that came from Mass Effect 1 and then showed up again in 2, those are the ones you have the longest standing relationship with, is Shepard. So it was really exciting to write for her because I could draw upon that previous relationship. There's a lot of history between the characters. It's always great to play with for a writer. At the same time, I was a little nervous, thinking, this is an important character to some people. I really wanted to do her justice. I think we succeeded. I always hate saying it definitively. Yeah, we totally nailed that.
No,
but
absolutely,
people
go
seem
with it.
happy with her, so I'm really glad fans have responded positively to her Mass Effect 3 portrayal, which is mine. Samara was great fun too because she had a smaller part. You only met her in the second game, but she's a great character.
She is
as
a fantastic character.
Oh, and both of them had fabulous voice actresses. Ali Hillis was Liara, and she loves the role. She loves the fans. She loves you guys, and she just had a blast with it. Samara's voice actress was so regal, Maggie Bayard, I think. I apologize if I said that wrong, Maggie, but she had this lovely, like I said, lovely regal delivery of Samara, which has just made it really fun to write because if you have a character who's from previous games, you know how they sound, you know what lines really sound good for them. If it's an unknown character, a new one, you have to hope the voice actor you get is going to match up to your vision. Sometimes they surpass it, sometimes they bring a lot to the role.
Right.
But ones you already know, you can start writing to their strengths. And that was a lot of fun.
And then you went ahead and did Edie and Thane, who were both breakout hits in their own right. Like I know some women that would want Thane right now. So I'm like, tell me what was it like creating those characters?
Well, I didn't create them. Another writer did Thane in Mass Effect 2 and Edie as well.
Or giving the words to those characters. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but essentially, like Sylvia said, you try to do them justice in Mass 3. It was a lot of fun to write Edie, and it was a little heart-wrenching to write Thane because we knew his story was going to be a tragedy. And people say, actors say, dying is easy and comedy is hard. I kind of found it the other way around because when I was actually writing it. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, I know we got to wrap up here. So, tell me, I know this is the first time that you guys are like behind the scenes at Comic-Con or coming as, or coming for Bioware. What has that experience been like?
It's only been a few days so far, but it's been really fun. Being able to skip the giant line outside is probably the highlight. No, the highlight's actually been meeting people. Everyone's been so positive so far and just happy to see us, which is always a pleasure. And, if anyone does come out, thank you very much if you can.
Cool.
Maybe next year. But no, it's been really fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great to get out and see the fans. I have not been, online and all the forums and stuff like that the way Sylvia has. So it's great for me to get out and see everybody here who just loves Mass Effect.
Okay. So go ahead and final question. Sum up Comic-Con 2012 in one word so far.
Awesome.
What about you, Sylvia? Comic-Con 2012, one word.
Super awesome. Hype in there counts. Overwhelming, in a good way.
Okay, there it is. It's Sylvia Feketekuty and Chris Hepler. See you guys next time.
Bye.